Good evening. This is the Board of Trustees regular meeting, April 8th, 2014. It's 7:37 p.m. We ran a little late on the committee of the whole. This is meeting number 2014-11. Please take the roll.
President Barry?
Here.
Trustee Carberry?
Here.
Trustee Vorder?
Here.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Here.
Trustee Olenichek?
Here.
And Trustee Desmond?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to turn the floor, let's see, public comments, item 3, okay? We're going to start with Joseph McCarthy, and you're talking about a family living in Oak Lawn. And I need you to come to the podium if you could, sir. State your name and let us know if you live in Oak Lawn or not. Thank you.
My name is Joseph McCarthy. I am a lifelong resident of Oak Lawn. I raised my 3 children in Oak Lawn, and I went to school in Oak Lawn, and my father was Worth Township Supervisor for over 15 years. My question to the board is, and thank you for listening to me. After raising my children, I see that there is a gap of interest of Oak Lawn from 10 years of age to 18. Meaning this, when I was in grammar school and high school, we used to go to the roller rink. We used to go to Zips. We used to go to Rocket Slide Park. We used to do things in Oak Lawn so that we were occupied and our parents knew where we were at. I think now we're missing that gap. Coral Plaza used to be the Coral Theater. You could walk to go see a movie. Now the kids have to go to Chicago Ridge, Orland Park, Evergreen. Where can we come to some agreement of having our youth stay in Oak Lawn? And I know as a parent, I would love to spend my tax dollars in Oak Lawn. I don't need them to go to Crestwood to see a movie. I like to have them to stay in Oak Lawn. I did it. My parents did it. You know, where is that now? How about a roller rink? People know how to roller skate. Roller skating is not a fad. It happens, and everyone still does it. You know, maybe it's a park district matter, you know, to help out the children. But I would like to see families that grew up in Oak Lawn stay in Oak Lawn, not have to leave Oak Lawn to do recreational things. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, next is Riley. Is it Spreadbury? Yeah. Okay, and Riley, you're talking about raising votes. And could you state your name and then let us know if you live in Oak Lawn?
Okay, yeah, my name is Riley Spreadbury, and I'm actually a hometown resident, but I go to Oak Lawn Community High School. I've lived in hometown for pretty much all my life, and then I've been in pretty much Oak Lawn. So I'm actually trying to raise votes for something. About 3 weeks ago, my math teacher, Mrs. Kruger, a teacher at Oak Lawn Community High School, nominated me for a contest in order to win a wheelchair-accessible car. As of right now, I rely on my mother and public transportation to get to and from places. I cannot carpool with others because my wheelchair is too big and too heavy to fit into other people's cars. And one of the factors needed to win this amazing competition is votes, and that's where the residents of Oak Lawn come in. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated if you could vote for me so I have the opportunity to win this competition. You could vote every single day until May 9th, and I know it's kind of a lot of days, but so it's about a month to vote. You go to olchs.org. That's olchs.org. It's the Oak Lawn High School website. And if you scroll down just a little bit, to the right side of the screen, there is a box, and it has my picture in it, and it says Vote for Riley Spreadbury. If you click on it, it'll bring you to the page to vote, and then you just follow the directions, and you're good to go. And honestly, thank you so much for letting me do this, and thank you if you guys vote, because that would make a huge difference in my life, so thank you.
Thank you very much. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. And that is the last of our public comments, okay? We have a few proclamations. I'm going to start by turning the floor over to Trustee Warderer. Trustee Warderer is going to introduce a video, I understand.
Yes, I am, Mayor. I am very fortunate, and Oak Lawn is very fortunate to have a young man who's doing some amazing things, not only to put Oak Lawn on the map, but to help kids with cancer. His name is Jordan Moeller, and he's here with his parents. Jordan, where are you? Okay, he's in the back, and I'm going to bring him up to the podium here for a proclamation. On Saturday, Jordan is hopefully one of our future Olympian figure skaters. I think you're competing for or want to get into 2018 Olympics. I was very fortunate to go to a fundraiser that he had Saturday at Southwest Ice Arena. I went simply because I asked Jordan and his parents to come here, and I thought it would be appropriate for me to go and support his fundraiser. I was only going to spend a few minutes there, but the performance was just so unbelievable, Jordan, that I spent the entire time at that show. And I understand you raised over $10,000 at that show, okay, for kids. Just absolutely amazing. I'm sure your parents are very, very proud of you, Jordan. And we have a little video of Jordan skating here. Can we play that here on the screen for everybody to see? can see why one day Jordan's going to make Oaklawn very proud. Jordan, would you and your mom and dad come up to the microphone here for the mayor to present the proclamation? May I join you, Mayor?
Please. Wow, that was awesome. That was awesome. I can't even imagine the amount of discipline and dedication and all the things you gave up to do that so well. So I applaud you. So, whereas Jordan, is it Muller? Okay, Jordan Muller was born in Davenport, Iowa in 1995 to John and Martha Muller. And whereas Jordan Muller first put on ice skates when he was almost 3 years old while living in Blue Earth, Minnesota. And whereas Jordan Muller and his family moved to Oaklawn in 1999, where you began taking skating lessons at the Oaklawn Ice Arena, and then shortly thereafter started private skating lessons with Vicki Morris. And whereas Jordan Muller entered his first competition in 2004, whereas Jordan Muller traveled up to the Northbrook area for about 5 years, 3 to 5 days a week to train with his coach, Corey Aid, and whereas Jordan Muller graduated from St. Paul Lutheran School and Richards High School in Oaklawn, and whereas you continue your education at Moraine Valley Community College while training full-time and working to help support your skating, and whereas Jordan Muller has won many competitions over the last 10 years, he was the 2010 Intermediate Men's Gold Medalist, 2011 Novice Men's Silver Medalist, along with the Gold Medalist at several Upper Great Lakes Regional and Midwestern Sectional Championships. So I'm just about a third down here. Amazing. Whereas Jordan Muller met his longtime goal of earning a spot on Team USA in April 2013, where he competed in the Selva Val Gardena, Italy, for the U.S. as part of Team USA. There you won a gold medal for the U.S. Wow. And whereas Jordan Muller competed on the Junior Grand Prix circuit of the U.S. in Riga, Latvia in August 2013, where you placed 9th, and 2 weeks later completed in Gdansk, Poland. Say it? Gdansk, Poland, where you placed 6th. And whereas Jordan Muller is the 2014 Upper Great Lakes Junior Men's Champion, the 2014 Midwestern Sectional Junior Men's Champion, and the 2014 U.S. Figure Skating National Championships Junior Men's Silver Medalist. And Jordan Muller earned one of 3 spots on the 2014 U.S. Figure Skating Junior World Team that took him to Sofia, Bulgaria on March 11th through the 17th, 2014, where you met your goal of a top 10 finish, ending up in 9th place, which helped the U.S. earn 3rd spot for the junior men next year. And Jordan Muller skates in several benefits and shows, including organizing the One Skate at a Time for One Step at a Time, which is a camp for children with cancer. This is a benefit show held the last 2 years at the Southwest Ice Arena in Crestwood, whereas Jordan Muller has raised over $10,000 in the last 2 years for One Step at a Time, Children's Oncology Services. And whereas Jordan Muller's other interests include playing trumpet, involved with his church youth groups, playing volleyball, soccer, basketball, baseball, track and field, and Jordan Muller's goal for this year, skating, is to move up to the senior level and receive at least one Senior B international assignment and possibly a Senior Grand Prix international assignment and make it to the 2015 championships in January as a senior. Whereas Jordan Muller's ultimate goal is to be named to the 2018 U.S. Olympic team. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Sandra Berry, Village President of the Village of Oaklawn, along with the Board of Trustees, do proclaim our support to you, Jordan Muller, for your continuing quest. We are so proud of you. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything? And this is your proclamation.
You didn't have anything, you said a lot the other night. You should
I did.
be fine.
I did. What should I say? Hi, everyone. I'm Jordan. Thank you so much to the Village of Oaklawn for welcoming me to this meeting tonight. I really appreciate all the support you guys have given me over the past few years and well, I guess 14 years since I've been here, but and just all the support from Richards High School that I got through my 4 years there, and it's just been a great experience here, and I couldn't do it without you guys. So
Thank you, Jordan.
Let's take a picture. Here, you hold that. Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Wow. I'm so impressed. Thank you.
Okay.
Terry, anything else?
Yeah, and it's only fair to say, Jordan, that your talents and your ability were brought to my attention by the Oak Lawn Park District. As your trustee, President Sue Murphy gave me a call and said, maybe I should look at this guy and see if we can recognize you. So I thank the Park District, and you should thank him too. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Best of luck, and we're so proud of you on behalf of all Oak Lawn residents. Wow. Go get it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, are Rosario and Lindsay Caprio here? Yeah, we're here. Okay. Hi, how are you? Good. Hi. Okay.
Put him back here if you don't mind.
Thanks. Trustee Carberry will keep an eye on him. Okay. I have a proclamation to read. Thank you for coming to our board meeting. Pardon me. Whereas Rosar and Lindsay Caprio are residents of Oak Lawn, and whereas on Thursday, February 6, 2014, Rosario and Lindsay observed a suspicious vehicle parked in front of a vacant home near 97th and Austin. Whereas Rosario and Lindsay observed the vehicle's doors being open with a driver in the car. Whereas Rosario and Lindsay Caprio observed 3 males walking around the home and attempting to enter the premises. And whereas Rosario and Lindsay Caprio observed that the men had reflective work clothes on, but the vehicle lacked identification on it. And whereas Rosario and Lindsay Caprio called 911 to report the suspicious activity, giving a description of the van and the license plate number to the operator. And whereas Rosario and Lindsay Caprio returned to watch the vehicle and followed the vehicle when the individuals left the scene after noticing the Caprios. And whereas Rosario and Lindsay Caprio informed the 911 operator of every move while they were making. And whereas Rosario and Lindsay Caprio demonstrated concern for the protection and well-being of their neighborhood. Whereas Rosario and Lindsay Caprio put that commitment to their neighborhood above their own personal needs. And whereas Rosario and Lindsay Caprio are committed to the neighborhood safety, and whereas we often talk about community policing and neighborhood watch. Now therefore I, Dr. Sandra Berry, Village President of the Village of Oak Lawn, along with the Board of Trustees, recognize Rosario and Lindsay Caprio as dedicated and involved citizens of Oak Lawn for their efforts to prevent and report crime in their neighborhood. Congratulations. Would you care to say anything?
Say something quick.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for the award, first of all. Second of all, if, you know, the police, they really need our help. I'm a lifelong Oak Lawn resident, and it's not easy for them. If you see anything suspicious, don't do like we did and follow them, because that's not safe. But do call 911. There's a lot of stuff going on, and we just, if we all work as a community to point things out to the police, they sure could use our help, and it'll hopefully help the community grow and be better.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Mayor, if I just want to make
Yes.
a comment, if I could, and I personally want to thank the Caprios for being great residents and neighbors in the 3rd District. That home that they saw, which essentially, with these fellows that were walking around in reflective vests, is something that we all hear. We hear about that commonly, reflective vests, so keep an eye. They were alert and aware. They called 911, and I would sadly report that within weeks after this incident, that home was subsequently burglarized. So, but thank you very much for the Caprios for being proactive and doing what's right for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great job. And the police can't be everywhere, so the message is a good one. Please call 911. Beth, Cosme, correct? Okay. I have 2 more proclamations. This one is a day of congenital diaphragmatic hernia awareness, and this is April 19th, 2014. And could stand here, right here, that's good. So this is a proclamation. Whereas 1 in every 2,500 pregnancies are diagnosed with a congenital diaphragmatic hernia, also known as CDH. And whereas since the year 2000, it's estimated that over 500,000 babies have been born with CDH. However, only 50% of those babies survived. Whereas CDH is common as spina bifida and cystic fibrosis. However, very few people know about it or are aware of it. And whereas 1,600 babies are born with CDH every year in the United States, and whereas there are many people living in Cook County who have been diagnosed with and have survived their CDH, along with many families in Cook County that have endured the horrible pain and grief associated with the loss of loved ones with CDH. And whereas those with CDH often endure multiple surgeries and possible medical complications, gastric, intestinal problems, developmental delays, and may require respiratory and medical support for years. Whereas raising awareness of this congenital defect will help bring about acceptance and support for those suffering with it, and will help advocate for urgently needed medical research and advances. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Sandra Berry, Village President of the Village of Oak Lawn, along with the Board of Trustees, proclaim April 19th, 2014 as a day of congenital diaphragmatic hernia awareness in the Village of Oak Lawn. Thank you. Would you like to say a few things?
I just would like to thank everyone and introduce, this is Preston. He was born with CDH, and it's just, he had a hole in his diaphragm, and his organs below the diaphragm were in his chest cavity. It is a very serious condition. Ours went undiagnosed, so I delivered at South Suburban, but then he had to be transferred to the NICU over at Christ. Wonderful doctors and nurses there. They did an excellent job with him. As you could see, he truly is a little miracle, and he's all boy. And if you know anyone that is pregnant, always ask to have that diaphragm checked. It's very small, very hard to see, but if the technicians know what they're looking for, they will definitely see it. And that's why we're here. We just want to raise awareness in honor of our son. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. I have one last proclamation to make. And this one, I don't believe anyone's here from the telecommunications department regarding this. Okay. This is a National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 13th through the 19th, whereas emergencies can occur any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and the preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Oak Lawn Dispatch Center, and whereas public safety dispatchers are the single vital link for our police officers, firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them with information and ensuring their safety, and whereas public safety dispatchers of Oak Lawn Central have contributed to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and the treatment of patients, and whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during their performance of their job in the past year. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Sandra Berry, Village President of the Village of Oak Lawn, do hereby proclaim April 13th through 19th as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Oak Lawn, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our village and citizens safe. This is dated today, the 8th of April, 2014. Thank you.
Yeah, she'll talk about this all.
Okay. Just a moment. My computer shut down, I was gone so long. Here's your agenda. Okay. Item 5 on the agenda is a request to approve the Sully Shuffle to be held on Sunday, September 14th at Oak Lawn Community High School. And Janet, you're here. Would you like to come to the podium and tell us about it? Thank you.
This would be the 6th annual Sully Shuffle. It's a 5K run and a 1K walk to raise money for Parkinson's disease research in honor of Skip Sullivan, who was a longtime community member. Over the past 5 years, we've raised $115,000 for Parkinson's disease research. So we'd like to ask the village if we could host it again with the starting point at Oak Lawn High School on the course that we showed. And just, have the assistance of the village and the police and the fire as we had in the past.
I'd like to make a motion to approve for my favorite defensive back coach in high school.
Okay, we have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Desmond, I think, got it first. Properly moved by Trustee Olenichek first, Trustee Desmond second. Any discussion?
Yeah, one thing, Janet, I think you're being a little modest. I think you need to come back up to the podium. We have a minor celebrity here amongst us. Probably the most successful basketball coach in Oak Lawn High School history. Can you tell us exactly how far you guys went this year?
We lost to Marian Catholic in overtime in the sectional finals.
That's good.
And I believe, did you just retire?
Yeah, I did. I stepped down so I could be with my family.
Congratulations on a fantastic career.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Please take the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. While we're talking and bragging about Oak Lawn, I want to just talk a little bit more about Oak Lawn Community High School. The Spartans brought home 2 state champion trophies this year. We'll try to get them to one of our meetings. Both the contest play and group interpretation, they were crowned state champions for that. Congratulations. Congratulations, Oak Lawn Community High School. And the Bulldogs did not want to be left out either. The Richards High School varsity chess team recently won the Illinois Chess Coaches Association Class AAA State Championship. So where they're going to go now is to San Diego to compete in the U.S. Chess Federation National Finals. So go Bulldogs. And we can't forget our middle school. Oak Lawn, I received an email today, Oak Lawn Hometown Middle School was one of only 3 schools in the entire state to be recognized by the Illinois State Board of Education with their highest designation as a Green School Award winner. So now they'll represent the state of Illinois in the national competition. So champions all around, and thank you. Going to move on to the business portion of the meeting now. Item 6 on the agenda is conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have a conflict with any item on today's agenda? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to item 7. This is the approval of the meeting minutes for the regular meeting minutes, 2014-09. These are dated March 25th, 2014. May I have a motion, please, on this item?
Make a motion to approve.
Properly moved by Trustee Quinlan.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Desmond. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Abstain.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichek?
Yes.
And Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes 501.
Okay, new business by village trustees. What's the good word out of District 1?
Thank you, Mayor. I have some new business, but I'd like to make a couple of comments first. First, I'd like to commend Mr. McCarthy for his comments. I couldn't agree more. As the father of 6 children between 7 and 18, I don't think we have enough activities for, not even for all my kids, not to mind everyone else's kids. We have a lot of, I think, opportunities here. The our Oaklawn Park District does a fantastic job with the facilities that they have, and I believe they're going to be introducing more. Also, we spend a lot of time online right now on Facebook and on checking our email, so maybe until May the 9th, every time we go on, we can go to olchs.org and vote for Eiley. This morning at Richards High School, we had another Oaklawn Jobs Programme presentation. We had approximately 50 students. We had representatives from the Electricians Union, Plumbers Union, the pipe fitters, carpenters, labourers and the bricklayers. Each union made a presentation and spent time talking to students about applying for apprenticeships, and it was very informative for all our students. Also, the Oaklawn Jobs Programme would like to thank the Oaklawn businesses who have hired Oaklawn residents, and we will be highlighting those businesses on our website periodically. And I think we're going to start with Whip Chevy, who have hired 2 residents through this programme. So if you're in the market for a new car, please consider those people that are helping our residents. And thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. And District 2, Trustee Olenichik.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just want to give an update. The Green Team, we have Earth Day Saturday, April 26th, which is at Wolf Wildlife. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's a great day, an event to celebrate Earth Day, and there's a lot of good conservation projects that are out there, tree planting, and the ability to learn about being good to our environment. This is a event that's run in conjunction with the Park District. Since we've been doing this, the Park District has partnered with the Village of Oaklawn, and we do appreciate that. I know the president of the Park District's out there, and you've been a big supporter. I've seen you out there every year for Earth Day. Along with that, the Oaklawn Police are going to be doing their Drug Take Back Day. That means that from 10 until 2, there will be the ability that if you have unused prescriptions or drugs that you would like to have stay out of the waste system, don't flush it down your toilet, throw it in the garbage. The police will be able to have a receptacle there, and they will dispose of that properly. I know that a lot of seniors get a little concerned with their medications if they're not used and they run out of date. So this is a great venue to be able to drop that off. And Chief Murray, is there any other planned dates at this time on that drug take back? That seems to be a popular event.
We do it twice a year, once in the fall, once in the spring.
So we'll have another one in the fall, so we look forward to that. Oaklawn Community High School is having a jazz contest this Friday, April 11th, and then Saturday you're having a band and choir contest. So if you're not doing anything and you'd like to stop by and see some great talent at the high school, please do stop by. I remember when I was in high school, the jazz competition was renowned throughout the state, and I know that their staff there is working very, very hard to bring that back, and they truly are talented. The Public Works update, I could go on very long on this, but I just want to bring to the attention that I am proud to announce that the Southwest Highway and Central turning lanes have been approved and will be coming up to the board for their approval. And Larry, as of yesterday, we have acquired all the right-of-way for the last 2 parcels?
Yes, we have, Trustee.
So you had said that in a meeting with Cook County, because they are going to be paying the major part of this, that we're looking for construction this year then.
That is correct.
So that's great news for a project that has taken almost 7 years to come to fruition. And I do appreciate the support of the board and specifically the support of our representatives. I will tell you that Commissioner Daley has been a big, big help in moving this project forward, and we do look forward to getting that turning lane on the Central and Southwest Highway side. Earlier today, the reason why we're running a little bit late is we did have a comment meeting with the Committee of the Whole. We were able to vet some of the concerns out that we've experienced in the village, and also listen to what Commonwealth Edison had to say about the improvements that they're going to be making, that they've made already in 2012 and 2013, and the continued commitment to improvements in 2014 and going out to 2015. We will have a report of that up on our website once they provide it to us, so everybody can understand. There's a lot of detailed information that went into it, and I do think that the Committee of the Whole, we were able to vet a lot of the concerns with Commonwealth Edison out there, and we had good participation from not just the board but the residents. The important thing to remember when you're dealing with Commonwealth Edison is, number one, make sure you call them and provide them with your address if you have any power issues, whether it's an outage or if you have power surge, spikes in power. They need to have that information recorded. And then another thing is, if you're not getting the correct attention to it, call your trustee. Each one of us has a phone number that's listed on the web, and each one of us will call the Commonwealth Edison, Katie Meyer, our representative, who, since I've been a trustee, has been a representative, and she does a phenomenal job of making sure that the issues are brought forward to Commonwealth Edison. So it was a good meeting, and I know that a lot of citizens were concerned about power outage. I know that there are pockets where we don't have any issues, and there are other pockets where we seem to have a lot of them. We have our senior snow shoveler volunteers pizza party, April 16th at 6 p.m. at Palermo's Pizza. This is going to be a very nice event again this year, and I know that the volunteers, the students, are looking forward to the drawing for the prizes. We have anything from gift certificates from the local ice cream place like Primo's, all the way up to a small laptop computer. So this year I believe we're in the upwards of 25 volunteers. Obviously the program needs more, but the people that came out did a phenomenal job, and I still think that anytime we can help a senior out with snow, especially with as many snows as we had this year, I still think that that's a tremendous job, and I look forward to anybody that's willing to help out next year with the senior snow shoveling program. Bob, you look interested. Very interested. That's good. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Are you sure the snow will be done by April 16th, Trustee Olenichek?
It was a long winter, that's all I will say. Thank you.
Thank you. And what's the good word out of District 3, Trustee
I have
Straight?
no new business this evening.
Okay, very good. We're going to move on to District 4.
Thank you, Madam
Trustee
President.
Warder.
I had to miss the last meeting due to some family issues on the West Coast, so I was unable to report on my and Trustee Alex Olenichek's community meeting, which we held on March 20th at the Oak Lawn Park District administrative offices. We had over 75 residents in attendance at that meeting, and we had discussions and presentations that were done both by myself and Trustee Olenichek, but along with representatives from our police department, our fire department, our public works department, our quality housing department, and we even had a representative from our refuge company, Reliable. We did much discussion and presentations on services the village provides to its residents, but we focused on how residents can be partners with the village to help provide these services. And tonight we saw an example of a resident who called the police department on some criminal activity, okay, and we were able to successfully respond to it. Now, this combined effort targeted one precinct, which me and Alex share, and it is the home of a very diverse zoning area. It includes Christ Hospital, which has commercial, residential, and zoning. And I just want to report the meeting went well, and the residents expressed their pleasure with the meeting. And I look forward in the future to do more of these meetings of this type in my district. And one more thing, Mayor. From time to time, trustees have mentioned their concerns about the village's transparencies. The current administration has been rated by the public watch groups as showing an 80% rating over the previous administration's 40% rating. We need to continue working towards the 100% rating, which I am reasonably assured that the mayor and this village board would like to achieve. It's a good goal. But I would like to suggest that we as elected officials of the village provide transparency in our own personal fundraising activities. All of us have raised funds to help in our political activities and our objectives. The state of Illinois Board of Elections requires us to report quarterly on our fundraising activities. This includes not only who gives us money and how much they gave us, but how we spend that money. We as elected officials of the village cast the votes that are supposed to be in the interest of the village and its residents. campaign contributions, certainly large contributions, may be perceived by the residents of Oak Lawn that may possibly be persuading our votes. I'm not saying contributors to our political funds do not have the best interests of the village at heart or in mind, but certainly in an effort to achieve the desired transparency we all want on this board, we should work towards disclosing our fundraising activities. And that information is available on David Orr's website, in the state of Illinois' website. I would like to suggest that we see a direct link on our village website, right on the page that lists our names and pictures along with our biographies, to the State Board of Elections campaign disclosure website. This would be, and I recommend it for all voting members of this board, since we do cast the votes that affect things. And I would request that this be placed on the next committee of the whole for discussion. And that's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you. And what's the news in District 5?
Just one item. 2 weeks ago, I reported that we were talking with CSX Railroad regarding 108th and Central, the railroad crossing, and that we were feeling pretty optimistic that we were going to be seeing some repairs. Unfortunately, we have not gotten any type of response from CSX, and so kind of took a little radical measure, and you might have noticed that there's signs at the crossing, and it's giving you the name of the gentleman. His name is Tom Livingston. He is with CSX Railroad, and asking that you call him and let him know that you're not happy with that crossing. So I just wanted to encourage residents to do that. Obviously, nothing's being done, and we have to do what we have to do. It's a disaster for anyone that's gone to the crossing. So again, his name is Tom Livingston with CSX Railroad. His phone number is 708-832-2169, or you can email him at Tom_Livingston, that's Livingston @csx.com. Sorry that we have to do this, but I think it's the only way we're going to see a response.
Do you have an
That's
office
all.
address?
Pardon me?
Do you have an office address for
I
him?
do not have that. And I had personally emailed him as well, and he had said, well, they had sent a repair out there. Well, I don't know, maybe one pothole they repaired, which totally didn't do anything, and that he would get back to me, and I'm still waiting, as well as I know that Larry and our staff has made numerous attempts to contact them as well. So that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a terrible crossing, and people think it's Oak Lawn not doing what we're supposed to be doing, and we don't control it, so, yeah.
I have never seen it this bad.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
tires are gonna be popping.
Yes, yes.
So, okay, thank you.
And District 6? No new business. Okay, very good, thank you. We're going to move on to the village manager's report, which is item 9 on the agenda. Larry?
Thank you, Mayor and trustees, and I'm embarrassed. There's no way I could possibly show you anything that could rival what Mr. Moeller just showed us. Jordan did a great job, so I have a brief video. I'd like to thank the mayor and the board and our planning commission and our architectural design and review committee. Those are volunteer boards appointed by the mayor and the board of trustees to do an outstanding job in this village, reviewing plans and reviewing projects for code compliance for improvements in our community. And what I'm going to show you here briefly, again, Jordan, I apologize, you're number one. You don't have any volume on that, Tom?
There's some high schoolers there that can help you out with that up.
Tom, why don't you just, I'll tell you what, why don't you just run through the slides, and I'll just speak to them real quick, okay? In the abundance of time?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This basically shows some of the areas throughout the village that, what the sites look like prior to construction, going through the planning process and approvals. On the upper top left, you have the former Allstate Insurance Building. On the top right, you have the old Kmart and abandoned Dominic site at 111th and Cicero. In the middle, you have a location where we now have Advanced Auto Parts on Cicero. Bottom left, obviously, is the campus of Advocate Christ Medical Center. And on the right, my eyes are failing me,
That
Tom.
was A&G Radio.
Thank you, thank you. So you'll see here, you have Little Company of Mary, which replaced the former Bailey site out on West 95th Street. Across from there, we have an outstanding project that's in the planning process. You've approved it. It's going through the construction drawings for submittal. That'll be a $15 million Class A office medical building, and that's the Dr. Troy and his colleagues on the south side of 95th. Then you have the Bluestone, that's Midwest Orthopedics and Advocate Christ Medical Center, which is a tenant in that building where the old Allstate was. Then you have some of the sites under construction in the upper right are the towers for the elevator that will be in the new bed tower as the floors start going up in the air. In that structure, upper left, of what the finished product will look like in later 2016 or so. Mariano's, that's the artist rendition at the top left. In the right, you'll see the walls are under construction. Again, a very tough winter, so you're going to see a lot of progress now on an escalated basis now that most of the snow, I'll say that quietly, has disappeared. Advanced Auto Parts on North Cicero, on the west side of Cicero. And then you have under construction in the lower right, the foundation being put in place for a new Midwest bank and a Walgreens that will be constructed where the existing current Midwest bank is. That's what the bank will look like. And under construction, you see the walls, the precast walls have been erected for Wintrust to the south of Village Hall where you are tonight. Thank you. Mayor and Board, on infrastructure, two quick items. You don't have on your agenda the Reich pumping station bids. That was addressed by Trustee Olenichek, Trustee Carberry, and Trustee Desmond in the Public Works Committee. They recommended unanimous approval. That's going through the final technical review by the Attorney's Office and by engineering. That will be a $23 million project. I'm pleased to report that the lowest complying bid will be Kenny Construction, a well-known construction firm, many years, family-owned in the greater Chicago area with a good south side connection. And that will be on your April 22nd agenda for approval. You did not get a chance with ComEd to talk about the burying of the utility lines, which is a contractual obligation funded through your TIF funds. That will be on April 22nd. That's for 111th between Laverne and Cicero, burying all those overhead lines, of which one of our residents spoke about how more reliable underground utilities are, and ComEd represented made it clear that when there's new subdivisions, new projects underway, as a policy, lines are buried. But under state regulations, it's the responsibility of the owners of the property, which is a joint partnership between Hamilton and the Village of Oak Lawn, where Cooper's Hawk Restaurant will be sited next to a water feature, a pond, and outdoor dining at the intersection of 111th and Cicero. Again, recapping on Cooper's Hawk, their architects are Area Group out of Oak Park. They're in full swing design. Hopefully they'll be coming before our architectural design and review board sometime in May. They want to be open by Valentine's Day, serving the good residents of the Village of Oak Lawn. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Okay, moving on to item 10. Item 10 is ordinance 141119. This is an ordinance of the Village of Oak Lawn, Cook County, Illinois, amending the 111th Street 111th Street Cicero Avenue tax increment financing redevelopment project area by removing the property therefrom. And that's it. Okay. We have a motion and. Thank you. Properly moved by trustee Carberry.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Quinlan. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor and Board.
Thank you. We're going to move on to, looks like item 11. This is Resolution 141119, a resolution approving the 2014 street resurfacing list. May I have a motion on item 11, please?
Motion to approve?
Properly moved by trustee Oliniechek.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Vorderer. Any discussion on this item? Please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 12 is Resolution 141120. This is a resolution approving a professional engineering services agreement with Christopher Burke Engineering pursuant to the 2014 street resurfacing project. May I have a motion on item 12?
Motion to approve?
Properly moved by trustee Oliniechek, seconded by trustee Carberry. Any discussion here? Please take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 13 on the agenda is Resolution 141121. This is a resolution authorizing application to the 2014 ComEd Green Region Program for the Oak Lawn Reforestation Corps project. May I have a motion on item 13?
Motion to approve?
Properly moved by trustee Oliniechek,
Second.
seconded by trustee Desmond. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 14 on the agenda is a request by the Police Department to waive formal bid process and order 5 PI utility vehicles from Hawk Ford for $141,150. May I have a motion, please,
Motion to
on
approve. 14.
Properly moved by trustee Vorder,
Second.
seconded by trustee Desmond. Any discussion?
Just a quick question. I neglected to ask this. Are these leased?
Yes.
Okay. They're going to be leased. And this was budgeted? Okay.
Thank you. Please call the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 15 on our agenda tonight is a request to approve the entertainment selection for the 2014 summer concerts and the 2014 Fall on the Green Festival. May I have a motion, please, on item 15?
Motion to approve.
Properly moved by trustee Desmond,
Second?
seconded by trustee Oliniechek. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to item 16. This says, hire Oak Lawn, shop Oak Lawn. And trustee Desmond, I believe I'm going to turn the floor over to you on this one.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, sir.
This is a follow-up of what we discussed at the Committee of the Whole. This is a program I am initiating to help our residents with home improvements and at the same time help our local tradespeople and businesses. Under this program, the village will waive permit fees up to $100 for any home improvement work residents can make to their homes if they hire an Oak Lawn contractor to do the work. So if you need a new fence, new roof, new siding, new sidewalks, please use an Oak Lawn contractor. We are also working with our home improvement stores to give a discount to Oak Lawn residents who need supplies to make these improvements. If approved at the next board meeting, this will take effect hopefully in May, and we will have all the full details and instructions on this programme on the village website. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Any discussion on this item beyond that?
I think it's a great idea. Nice job.
I do too. I do too. Okay. Excellent. We're going to move on to the village clerk's report, item 17.
Thank you. Approval of semi-monthly disbursements, number 2014-07D, dated April 8th, 2014, in the amount of $5,355,560.12.
May I have a motion, please, on item 17A?
Motion to approve the
Properly
bills.
moved by trustee Vorderer.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder? Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
A couple more things, Mayor. This Saturday, April 12th, St. Germain hosts their Jamazing Race, beginning at 9 a.m. at 97th and Colon. So it's a great event. I hope to see everybody out there. And last, also this Saturday is the Village's Easter egg hunt, which will take place on our village green. And there will be 3 Easter egg hunts beginning 11:30, noon, and 12:30. So please, for your kids, bring your own Easter baskets. That we do not supply. So happy Easter to all. That's it.
Thank you. We're going to move on to item 18, Village President's Report. Item 18A is a request to approve a temporary Class C liquor license. This is for a special event on April 26, 2014, for a breast cancer fundraiser to be held at Petey's Place, located at 9611 Southwest Highway in District 3. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. And item 23, I'm sorry. The B is the ordinance. That's ordinance 141120. I'm going to take both of these together. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Okay, and second?
Well, we hit Bob and Alex, I think,
Okay.
didn't we?
Okay, so Bob, okay. Thank you. Any discussion on this? Please take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder? Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, item C is a request to approve the Class P like Paul mail order sales of wine only under new ownership of VCS Vintners Wine Cellar at 5533 West 109th Street, Suite 213. This is in District 5. May I have a motion, please, for item C?
Motion approved.
And I do the ordinance, don't I normally do those separate?
Yeah, we can do this, these separate because you're increasing these.
Okay. So separate. Okay. So we had a motion, okay, properly moved by trustee Quinlan, seconded by trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 141121 is an ordinance decreasing and then increasing the number of Class P like Paul liquor licenses that can be issued in the village. This is VCS Vintners Wine Cellar at 5533 West 109th Street. May I have a motion, please, on this item?
Motion approved.
Properly moved by trustee Quinlan, seconded by trustee Vorderer. Any discussion here? Thank you. Please take the roll.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
And Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. I want to talk a little bit about House Bill 5485. It's a bill that really doesn't affect Oak Lawn a whole lot. But Oak Lawn's situation can resonate throughout the state with respect to minimum manning. It's a very confusing issue for people. It has to do with the manning of our fire department. The Illinois Municipal League, several area mayors, and municipalities all around the state are working very hard in opposition to this bill. It passed last week, or was it early this week? I think this week,
Monday.
through the House. It is now expected to be heard on the Senate floor June 11th. So I apologize for not taking this to the committee of the whole. It is a very, very important issue that we discuss. thank you. Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Minimum manning in Oak Lawn refers to how many firefighters are on an engine. This affects our budget. This affects many things. Municipalities, we want to be able to control how we use our resources. For example, you know, we have so much coming in. We want to look at what our needs are and say, okay, we want it to be divided this way. We rely on our police chief and our fire chief to tell us what they need, and that is how we should be making our decisions, not based on minimum manning standards. It's a little bit controversial. Many people fear that it affects public safety or that it's anti-union or even anti-firefighter, and this is not the case. I'm going to play a short video for the board's consideration, just outlining kind of what I've been talking about. I'm going to let Larry talk a little bit about it, open it up for discussion. But what I'm going to ask this board to do is if I can get a resolution of opposition, it would be very helpful when I go to Springfield. Again, I apologize for the short notice on this, but it is one of the most important issues we face as a village. So let's let that video roll, please. And is there audio on that too? No one can hear that, Tom.
House Bill 5485 removes our power to do that and places that in the hands of an unelected arbitrator who doesn't live here or doesn't pay taxes here. It ties our hands to do what's right for residents. This is wrong.
Okay, Tom, I'm just going to ask you to pause that for a minute, and I'll read along with it, or maybe I'll just read the statement.
You can hear it.
You can hear it? Okay. Hello, my name is Dr. Sandra Berry. I'm the mayor of the Village of Oak Lawn, and I'm making this video today to voice strong opposition to House Bill 5485, which was recently passed out of the House and now is being considered by the Senate. Our job as elected officials is to allocate village resources to meet the changing needs of our community. House Bill 5485 removes our power to do that and places that in the hands of an unelected arbitrator who doesn't live here or doesn't pay taxes here. It ties our hands to do what's right for residents, and this is wrong. I want to answer a few questions you might have about this bill. Isn't minimum manning necessary for safety? The answer is no. 72% of our firefighters live outside Oak Lawn, and the majority of those choose communities for their own families in which there are no minimum manning requirements and lower taxes, including Indiana. I asked our fire and EMS chief, George Sheets, about safety concerns, and here's what he had to say.
It is safe. It's not about how many people ride on an engine company. It's about how many people can assemble on a fire scene in a matter of minutes. Now, this is just not my opinion. This is the opinion of the Illinois Fire Chiefs Association, which represents hundreds of fire chiefs across the state. They also are opposed to this bill.
Number 2, won't this bill save money? Definitely not. To illustrate why, I want to tell you the story of two villages. Oak Lawn and Tinley Park are two fine communities in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. They share many characteristics, including similar populations. The one difference between us is Tinley Park's elected officials are free to make decisions about how they use their resources. Oak Lawn's elected officials are not. This is due to the archaic minimum manning requirements in place in Oak Lawn. What does this loss of municipal control cost taxpayers? Well, let me tell you, in 2013, Oak Lawn spent $13.5 million on our fire department, and Tinley Park spent $5.7 million. That's a $7.8 million difference, which is a substantial amount for a community of our size. It represents about 15% of our total budget and includes over $2 million in overtime costs. It is crazy. When I think of what we could do with even a portion of that $7.8 million, I think of the police we could put on the streets, the pensions we could fund, debt we could pay down, roads we could fix, and services that we could provide residents. It blows my mind. Oak Lawn needs more police on the streets. With our aging demographics, we need more paramedics. We have huge unfunded pension liabilities and crumbling infrastructure. Now, I'm not saying we would do exactly what Tinley Park has done with their fire department, but I'm saying we need, as elected officials, to allocate the resources according to the changing needs of our community. Instead, we're looking at painful cuts across the board in every department but one. And that's the one with the minimum manning requirement in place. Number 3, if you oppose this, aren't you being anti-union? No, opposing this is pro-union. In Oak Lawn, the financial havoc caused by minimum manning has forced outsourcing, downsizing, and cuts in every other department. It has hurt every other union in this village. This bill is a job killer and anti-union. Number 4, is opposing this bill being anti-firefighter? No. In fact, we appreciate their professionalism and all they contribute to the public safety of our community. What we'd like to do is nothing more than give them the tools they need to do their jobs and keep the promises we made them by funding their pensions, which is almost an impossibility right now. This bill is strongly opposed by elected officials all across Illinois and the Illinois Municipal League. Please contact your legislators today and ask them to oppose House Bill 5485. The needs of one special interest should never come before what's best for taxpayers. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. So it's a very complicated issue and a very dynamic process, but this bill is unfortunately getting legs. It would be, imagine what it costs Oak Lawn, what we have in place around the entire state. It would be just very, very difficult. Larry, would you care to speak about this at all?
Mayor, I think you gave an excellent presentation. I apologize. I wish it could have been louder if those of you that could not hear the mayor's message, but I think 2 key points. It certainly is not anti-union. It is not anti-firefighter. It is about the elected officials that sit here that you put in office to represent your needs and determine how best to use your tax dollars, take care of your streets, provide the adequate and controlled police services in this community, and prioritize the spending. That's what it's about, and it's about the fact that the following elected officials and boards throughout the state understand this. And I'm going to exclude Chicago, okay? And I'm not going to suggest to you a wonderful world-class city like Chicago when it comes to finance. You should not be looking at Chicago on how to solve financial issues. I'm talking about Rockford, Naperville, Decatur, Peoria. These are all Aurora, second largest city in the state of Illinois. All those elected officials have spoken in opposition against this legislation. Mayor, I think you did a wonderful job. The Illinois Municipal League, of which the Village of Oak Lawn has participated, they represent our interest. We financially participate with the league for many, many years through many, many mayors and boards in this community. That is their position. They represent us. They're our eyes and ears in Springfield. And I think the resolution, similar to what Bob was talking about earlier, is about fiscal responsibility and about allowing local officials to take your tax dollars with your input and properly spend it. I will state that 72% of our firefighters do not live or pay taxes in the Village of Oak Lawn. They live in Tinley Park. We just heard these tale of 2 cities, Tinley Park. They live in Indiana. They live in Bourbonnais. They live in Plainfield. They live in a lot of other places other than Oak Lawn. They're making decisions for you collectively down in Springfield as opposed to your mayor and your board being able to make decisions. 56 cents of your dollar goes to public safety. 56% of your tax dollar for local services goes to public safety. Keep that in mind. You got public works, street maintenance, and other functions that are equally important, and we all know the importance of police service and being able to properly staff police services. That's a priority of this board and this community, and it should be. So thank you, Mayor, for taking the time and effort to really outline what this bill is really about.
So just for clarification, this does not affect anything that we're doing at Oak Lawn so much. This is a state bill, but Oak Lawn's situation is unique in the state, and we are an example for how this affects communities. And the purpose of getting out there with this message is that it is more costly when local government does not control the allocation of resources. Is there any discussion on this item?
Yes, I'd like to say something.
Trustee Desmond, yes.
This was put on the agenda Friday to be discussed tonight, and I think we should have more time to talk about this, to get more information. This is something that, as a resolution, should be discussed in the Committee of the Whole, where we can debate this openly and hear arguments on the pros and cons. Now, one of the reasons our property taxes are high in Oak Lawn is because of this minimum staffing requirement. And this was something that was agreed on years ago by previous administrations. I believe we have to have 21 firefighters on duty at any one time. At times, like we've seen in the past few months, we probably needed them. Sometimes we don't, but I would like to hear from both sides on this issue before we can make such an important decision here tonight. And I would propose we move this to the Committee of the Whole for further discussion.
Thank you. Trustee Desmond, you're making a motion. I just want to remind everyone, this is expected to be June 11th down in Springfield. So there's a very good chance that will not be. Yes.
You got a motion.
Yes, we have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Properly moved by Trustee Desmond, seconded by Trustee Carberry. Now for discussion. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I think this, I don't know who it was communicated to, but this is an overall, it's a strategy. This has been going on for a while. And, I don't know if the fire department's been brought into this, or our chief was, or if it's been distributed to the guys, to the men and women of the fire department. But it is something that should be discussed, fully vetted, and by all of us, and then take it to a vote. I think there's a lot of points there that have merit. They've been the same points for years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything new about the issues, or but it's going to be Lieutenant Governor Terry mentioned Lieutenant Governor. Our candidate that was out the other night, they're going to be handling, municipal. Governor Quinn's staffers, they're handling municipal issues on a daily basis. This is one of them. Larry was down in Springfield. I commend his efforts, Preston Flesh and trying to make a difference, and I applaud those efforts too. But I think it's an overall strategy, and I think it should be heard by all of us in a decision made from there before I'm going to vote on a resolution.
Mayor, if I could, and
Yes.
again, I respect the motion and the desire for further discussion, and I certainly have no problem with that. I do want to make it clear what the mayor's message was. We're spending $2 million in this village alone a year that does not go to providing any additional public safety and protection in this community, period. Those are the facts. $2 million a year, and that excludes any costs for litigation. Trustee Desmond was correct. This was a movement put in place in a different time prior to everything that's happened technology in the last 2 decades. Anybody who's got a device like this in their hand or what goes on today, how to protect homes, sprinkling, smoke detectors, et cetera, that have come about in the last 25 years due to technology in this great country and affecting this community. And we have not changed one iota what our approach is to handling fire emergencies. Those are the facts. Those are the facts. They're not going to change. And I will say this, trustee, that I personally left a note on every single elected official. You can go. We talk about going website. All the young men and women that are in the audience here, you can link on the Illinois Municipal League. You can see how every legislator voted. I'm very pleased that our legislator, State Representative Kelly Burke, changed her vote. Hats off to her. Had a lot of lobbying on this issue. It was tough, but she voted no, representing the interest of the mayors, Southwest mayors, Mayor Jerry Bennett, who called her on behalf of all the mayors in the Southland, including Oak Lawn, and Mayor Burry, who reached out to her, so she voted no. We had, I believe, 7 state representatives that rose on a roll call vote to speak against this. There was only one additional spokesperson who rose to speak in favor of this bill. The representative who has put it forth is from Waukegan, Illinois. Not exactly a model of fiscal responsibility. Those are the facts. So I think discussion is good, but let's make sure that we do talk about the facts here, and the decision rests with the mayor and the board. They're the elected officials, not anybody else for this community.
When is this, Madam Mayor?
We have trustee Vorder next, please.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. Listen, I've been sitting here for a while now, and this seems to be the crucial issue we constantly deal with every time we do a budget. This is another unfunded mandate that's coming out of Springfield. I certainly support discussion. Obviously, some of my fellow trustees need more information, more time to think about it. But as you expressed, this is timely. This goes to a vote on June 11th. I can vote in favor of discussion if, in fact, we call a special meeting, okay, discuss it, to give you time, okay, to hear the feelings of your trustees and take it to Springfield.
Thank you. I'll be in Springfield tomorrow. I'll be gauging kind of what's going on, and I may call that special meeting.
Okay.
I may end up doing that. And trustee Olenichek.
Madam Mayor, so the vote is June 11th?
We believe it's coming for a vote June 11th. We are, that's
Could it be
what we're
quicker?
hearing. There's anything can happen. Certainly, I'm not hearing before June 11th. But Larry, have you heard anything?
Trustee Olenichek asked a critical question. We were not expecting the roll call vote to come up. That was strategic, much earlier than it was supposed to. Talk about deliberation. There was no deliberation. That was behind the scenes maneuvering to get that bill up for a roll call vote. It passed 63 to 60. So you are correct, trustee. It's entirely possible there may be efforts to maneuver. We've spoken to the speaker. We've spoken to the governor, their personal notes. Trustee Carberry talked about the lieutenant governor. I think that's a wise decision. I think that he ought to be asked. Does he support, as a former school superintendent, local government?
Madam Mayor, and Larry, just in response.
I wasn't finished.
Trustee Straight was next.
I wasn't finished, though.
Oh, okay.
For just so I understand, that this bill is going to be a state law if it passes that states that minimum manning must be negotiated, or
Must be part of.
Mandatory item of negotiations, not permissible. That's the operative word. Many municipalities now that are opposing this, they don't even have the archaic language that was put in Oak Lawn's contract in the late 80s, early 90s. They don't have it. They don't want it. They're smart. And if this goes in, if I'm a bargaining member of a local fire union and my contract comes up, I can say, I want to bargain over manning. If this law gets passed, it's mandatory, not permissible. It has to be bargained over.
Mayor.
Trustee Straight.
I had one other.
Trustee Oliniechek.
Sorry. Sure. I do believe that we should vet this fully, and I do believe that we owe it to our employees to be able to get their side of what they feel is the importance of this, so that way we can, I think this is going to come to a hedge. We owe it to the employees, we owe it to the residents of the Village of Oak Lawn to figure out some type of way to solve this problem, because it has been lingering on way too long.
Okay, and Trustee Straight.
Thank you, Mayor. I certainly don't need any time to decide how I would vote on this issue. House Bill 5485 provides that in the case of fire department issues, an arbitration decision shall be limited to wages, hours, conditions of employment, including minimum manning. This legislation, as was stated, passed by the House. While we're hearing there's all kinds of opposition, it did pass in the House, the General Assembly, 66 to 44 on Monday. And I'm going to suggest that it's very likely that it's going to pass the Senate as well. This legislation doesn't do anything to the Village of Oak Lawn. We are already subject to an appellate court ruling that ruled against us on the minimum manning issue. The appellate court determined that the village had engaged in an unfair labor practice by refusing to bargain with the firefighters on minimum manning. I have a copy of the opinion here with me right now if anybody wants to read it. The court's determination affirmed the Illinois Labor Relations Board's decision. We've been living with that reality in Oak Lawn, the reality of minimum manning as a mandatory subject of collective bargaining since 2011. We followed the advice of the village manager, and we lost the arbitration hearing. We also lost the appeal. The Labor Board ruled against us. The appellate court ruled against us. The Supreme Court won't take the case. Minimum manning is now a mandatory subject of bargaining in Oak Lawn. So we're taking a stand that it may have an effect on other municipalities, but it will not benefit Oak Lawn in any way. We are subject to minimum manning, whether the bill is passed into law or not. We have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars fighting the unfair labor practice charges and appealing losses. Now we're asked to pass a resolution that opposes a law that doesn't really apply to us. The taxpayers are flat out of patience, and we are flat out of money to spend to defend ourselves against useless lawsuits. My question for you, Mayor Barry, is what are you trying to accomplish with this resolution for the people of Oak Lawn?
Thank you. Trustee Straight, that is an excellent question. What I want to do is make sure what's going on in Oak Lawn doesn't reverberate beyond that. As a mayor, I communicate with, I have a more regional approach perhaps than your microcosm in District 3. I'm aware of how money flows through the state, through the communities. There's much to learn, but you might certainly agree that at one point in time, you felt the same way.
I went along with the manager's recommendation. That's what I did.
In fact, you went beyond that, Trustee Straight.
Oh, I did? Really?
Yes. On May 6th in 2008, you appeared at Fire Station 3, and you were very aggressive. And that act had a lot to do with why we were not victorious. That act. So
is that right?
Yes,
well, you
sir.
know what? How about
at the meeting you allegedly told the witness?
I think you're out of order.
This is a matter for discussion.
Mayor, you cannot.
What are the grounds?
Be slamming. The grounds are you're slamming, and this has become personal.
No,
And
this is discussion on this item.
No, it's not discussion.
I was asked a question.
I believe that you're out of order.
Okay.
Inappropriate.
Is there a second on the trustee's opinion?
Well, the mayor makes a ruling. You can continue if you feel, if you don't agree with the decision of
Okay.
the mayor, then you can appeal that decision.
Okay. I'm going to keep going because I don't feel I'm out of order. Okay. You told witnesses, I want you busted down in rank and fired for comments. You were very aggressive. At the meeting, you allegedly brought up numerous grievances and specifically mentioned the Januszewski case. I'm just going to go on how it ends. Trustee Straight, numerous people were asking short questions. He was getting more and more incensed. He was getting loud. His face got redder. He basically told us,
You know what?
kind of
Can I
ending the
appeal
meeting.
this? What is that?
Kind of ending the
What is
meeting
it?
by stating bargaining
This
unit
is
members. He pointed to all of us and said, you better accept what the village is offering to us on our
She's
grievances.
slamming a board member.
This is a fact.
Chair cannot do that.
You better accept what the village is offering to us on grievances in the contract, because if we continue to fight, you will have our expletive deleted handed to us. Trustee
But we
Straight.
lost, though, Mayor. We
Yeah,
lost.
we
that
lost
fight. That was in
because of this
2008.
kind of
It's
behavior.
2014.
The
And now
minimum
you're
annual
telling
requirements
people
are no
that We're
different
spending
now.
$2 million on overtime, and that's why we have to cut services. That's flat out false. And
There's-
you probably don't know that it is, but you should.
Trustee
all right?
Straight, I sat at every budget meeting with you, and you did not make one productive comment on how we could
And you
solve our
made great
problems.
ones. Cut, cut, cut. That's all you told our department heads.
Your other
Slash,
option
cut.
is increase taxes, sir.
Yeah, you know what?
either
No, you know
decrease
what?
spending
No,
or
you know
increase
what?
taxes. It's like a checkbook.
No, you know what? That's
And-
absolutely false. You cut services is what you did. And you're
Which-
blaming
which
the firemen,
services
which is
have we cut?
false. That's false.
Can you tell
okay?
me which services you say we cut that are, tell me.
Yeah, I can absolutely tell
Okay,
you what
tell me.
services we cut. This year, we're cutting 2 police officers. When crime is rising, we're cutting 2 police officers from our budget.
We are
We're
not
an
cutting any
additional-
police
we-
officers
it's-
from the
We're also,
budget.
well, how about letting me
Larry,
answer?
Larry,
the-
we're
you
gonna
asked
let,
me a
we're gonna let
question. I let you-
Trustee
I let you
Straight answer the
respond.
question, then we're gonna let
Thank
you respond.
Thank you. We also eliminated 3 additional police personnel this year. We're also going to reduce the fire department staff by 3 additional firefighters. Those are all budgeted cuts in this year that the mayor says she presided over and recommended. We cut street services. Everybody knows we have less plowing, less salt. We're outsourcing senior services. If we keep going the way this mayor is proposing, we're going to outsource everything we do here. We don't even have to come here anymore. That's the direction that you're leading this village. The people of Oak Lawn want good public services, and they're used to it. And that's what we should be providing, instead of attacking our firefighters, attacking our personnel. You make videos, you go down to Springfield and make videos about how terrible, what the firefighters are doing to our village. That's
I
I'll tell
never
you,
said
that's
anything against
shame
a
that you would do
firefighter,
that. That's
Trustee
hurtful.
Straight. I
It hurts our
didn't ask
employees.
for their
You just-
expletive
now you're
deleted on a
interrupting
platter.
me. Now, why would you?
I'm gonna let the village manager address a few of your concerns.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. First of all, the concept of taking a service delivered by a public employee and having it delivered by an employee of either a nonprofit or a for-profit company is not new. And Oak Lawn has been doing that since 2007, when the 2008 budget was approved. And the then sitting mayor and board made a decision on a recommendation from the manager to outsource our family services. And we did it because back in 2007, before all this discussion you hear today in Illinois about underfunding of pensions or about rising taxes, we recognized that that problem was looming. It would get larger, not smaller. So a prior board and mayor, and I salute them, accepted recommendations to start making changes. We also asked the men and women represented by unions. 90% of our workforce are represented by unions, and they do an excellent job. We asked for their cooperation and assistance, and we did receive some concessions. Not every union, but the majority of the unions worked with management in an effort to make adjustments. No police officers, uniformed sworn police officers have been cut from the budget. Yes, we have made adjustments, and we are not filling civilian positions, but that's across the board. It's not just in the police department. They're in other departments. We've accepted the fact that we have an unfunded pension liability. And by the way, pension benefits are not set by this mayor and board. They are set by legislators. They give away the benefits that they think are correct, and then they have local municipalities, through your property tax, pay for those. Now, there's changes afoot, and I salute everybody who's involved in those changes. The governor, the speaker, the House, the Senate. They're going in the right direction. What Mayor Manuel is proposing, he's going in the right direction as well. You can argue the content and how changes are being made, but unless labor, management, elected officials in this state all come together, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by anything you hear out there. If everybody representing those groups I just mentioned, elected officials, managers, school superintendents, unions, business, don't come together in this state, we are not competitive. We will continue to see a loss of population. We'll see an increase in population to the Sun Belt, to Indiana. Those are the facts. Number 2 state in this union that's losing personnel is the state of Illinois. All we're trying to do here is to resolve and work things out. There's going to be disagreements between trustees and the manager. I understand that, and I respect that. But you got to make some decisions up here. That's what you were elected for. That's what you hired me for, is make recommendations, make the tough decisions. I wish I could sit here, tell you we don't have to worry about a thing. Push it down the road, okay? Push it down the road. That's not going to get us out of the problem we have. We all have to work and pull together. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to just let Trustee Olenichik talk, then I'm going to call the vote on.
Well, Madam Mayor, it seems to me that we do want to vet this. I know that another trustee sitting to my left asked in a meeting that was not, that we were talking, a meeting of the whole, about a resolution to oppose the extension of the state Illinois income tax increase, which basically we all agree with. But when it comes to a resolution saying that we don't support minimum manning, which, by the way, I believe they've already said that they're going to not even pay attention and they're going to roll over the state income tax, so it's kind of a moot point. But those are things that villages do to make a statement down in Springfield, which is very wise to be able to let things go down there. So I know that this board, you can be critical of us towing a line and not looking to raise taxes. The only way that we can balance our budget without being conservative on how the taxpayers' money is to raise taxes. Are you for raising taxes?
No, and I disagree with that entirely.
We're gonna call the vote.
You during the budget meeting did not bring up one idea.
I'm going to call the vote.
This is and I was ridiculed
Trustee Strite, we're calling the vote. This is the vote on the motion to move this to the committee of the whole and postpone. We have a first and second. Please take the vote.
Trustee Carberry.
Yes.
Trustee Vorder.
Madam President, are we going to set an earlier date so that you can?
I'm going to go to Springfield tomorrow. I'll assess that and get back to you.
I vote yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Trustee Strite.
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan.
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik.
Yes.
Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate the consideration for that. There's probably no bigger issue we face in Oak Lawn than the thought of this going statewide. Wow. Okay. General Village Matters. I don't have too much to say. This time of year, we're getting ready for our vehicle stickers to be sold and put on cars. And, you know, following the theme Mr. McCarthy started at this meeting today, the vehicle sticker I'm going to just display, I'm so pumped about it. Shop Oak Lawn. Shop Oak Lawn. Not only shop Oak Lawn, but shop local, hire Oak Lawn, and grow Oak Lawn jobs. This was announced at the chamber luncheon today, and they just about leapt off their chairs with excitement. Our local businesses know what it means when people come through their doors. Even if every resident spent just a few dollars a month extra in Oak Lawn, it'll keep our stores going. What it means to our local businesses is everything. We had a resident come and say, why do my kids have to go outside Oak Lawn for what they need? I wish they wouldn't have to. And this board is working very, very hard to make sure that doesn't happen. We're going to really, really rock it. Let's shop Oak Lawn. Oak Lawn is open for business. Yeah. So I'm so excited about that. And with that, I'm going to just move on with this meeting. We're going to move to item 19 on the agenda. This is an executive session 2014-03 for the purpose of, 1, reviewing the approval of minutes of closed meeting 2014-02 dated March 25th, 2014, and 2, reviewing for the release of minutes of closed meeting minutes from April 10th, 2008, June 14th, 2010, and all closed meeting minutes for 2011, 2012, and 2013. We have item 3, discussing probable or imminent litigation, and 4, discussing the purchase or lease of real property. May I have a motion on item 19, please?
Motion to move.
Properly moved by trustee Olenichik.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Carberry. Please call the vote.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Border?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
Yes.
And trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And for those in the room, I'd like to, I see a lot of high school kids, you probably need forms signed. What we're going to do now is clear the room so we can meet just the board. And so if you have forms to sign, this is the time to come up and get that done, because we're going to empty the room out.